We are live. What is going on, everybody? Welcome, everybody, to the Blue Brothers Podcast, Episode 7 for the Sunday, September 1st, 2024. I am your host, Domingo here on Network, and and in today's podcast, um, where I'm going to be talking about a story about why 2012 was the best year for me and why I love that year. So I'm going to explain that in the story, but I want to say I hope everybody is doing well. Hopefully everybody is doing great. I hope everybody had a very good summer this year in 2024 because we're in the month of September right now, the first September here in 2024. And of course, summer is about to be all over very soon. Of course, September is part of the summer. But once that's over, summer is done and we wait until next year and then we move on to autumn or the fall, and the winter and all that stuff, which, oh man, get ready for that. But yeah, I want to let everybody, I hope everybody is doing well and we're gonna get this started right now. But there is a few things I just want to say before I begin this podcast and tell you the story. We just recently found out that a professional wrestler named Sid Udi, or you may know him as Sid Vicious, or is also known as Psycho Sid or Sid Justice. He recently passed away a few days ago at the age of 63. The cause of death was from cancer. And I just want to mention that, say my thoughts and prayers go out to the family and friends of Psycho Sid. And we're going to miss him very much. He was one of the greatest, biggest wrestlers of all time. He is the master of the power bomb. And every time I see Psycho Sid, do a power bomb and all that stuff, he performed that move very, very well. It was a very good looking power bomb. Of course, Psycho Sid is a former two-time WWE champion, two-time WCW champion, and a one-time WCW United States Heavyweight champion. I just want to mention that, pay my respects and give my thoughts and prayers to out to the family and friends of Psycho Sid. We're gonna miss him. We love him. He was a great wrestler. And hopefully by next year WWE puts him in the Hall of Fame. And I want to say, Psycho Sid, we're gonna miss you. Thank you for everything you did in wrestling back in the days, especially New Generation, Attitude, Ruthless Aggression, and all these, in WWE, WCW, ECW back in the days. Thank you for everything you did in the wrestling business, and you will be missed. Rest in peace to Sid Udy, aka Psycho Sid. All right, guys. So now we're gonna be talking about 2012, and I'm gonna try to remember. I may not remember everything in 2012 because it's been over a decade now. It's been like I think 12 years now. So I'm gonna tell you all the story about why 2012 is the best year for me and why I had a really awesome year in 2012. So let's go all the way to January of 2012, right? So the beginning, and I have to say I do remember, is that 2012 in January, of course, the 27th of January was my birthday. Yes, and I turned in 20. Now, in January 27, 2012, I turned 21 years old, which means I was a full adult. And I remember we used to go out on my birthday. I used to go to a nice restaurant called Applebee's. And I will never forget this moment. I remember I ordered, a drink, I ordered some French fries and a big ribs. And let me tell you, those ribs at the Applebee's at a mall, right? In 2012. Oh my God, I never forget that. How big the baby back, that big ribs had. Yeah, it was a baby back ribs, but it was so long and big, and I ate the whole thing, and you could see all the bones from the ribs. I gotta say that was so good. It was a huge, it was like a long, big ribs I had. It was so good. The French fries was good, and of course I got a soda like Pepsi and stuff. Like it was all good. And I remember that eating the whole thing and all that. Like it was incredible. It was amazing, and yeah, it was delicious as well. I love those type of ribs. I love how big it was, and I'll never forget that moment. It was really big. It was a huge ribs, and I ate that whole thing. You can see a lot of bones and all that stuff. It was great. French fries was delicious, and of course, the Pepsi is great as well. So then, so it was actually a good start. I thought, every year, the month of January for me, when the new year comes around that point, it was a good start. So yeah, I remember that, and then, celebrated birthday. It was great, me turning 21, and then around that time, I was in school, and I was getting ready to graduate from school. And since I turned 21 and I did all my work and all the stuff like homework and all that stuff I did in school, ooh, it was tiring. But you know what? It was all worth it in the end because I've been, waiting for this moment to finally graduate high school, waiting for the moment that I never go back to school ever again after that because all these years since I was a little kid, going to school, all that stuff, after all the good times and the bad times and the miserable times and different times transporting to different schools. And it was not easy because the thing about this, school was not easy. But if you believe in yourself and you believe in that you can actually make it, you can prove people wrong, and then you do great. If you go to school and do all these stuff and all the work and all that stuff and learn all these things, everything, I think in the end it will be all worth it. Even if it takes years for you, to finish up high school and stuff, you all you gotta do is do the best. It may be some hard challengings, but if you do well and finish all the homework and then all these other works and stuff you gotta do, there's no doubt you will be successful. And that's exactly what I did. I worked hard in high school, everything I did, and it wasn't easy for the most part, but somehow I actually got it right and I actually finished everything and made it. I was waiting for the moment. So now we're gonna go fast forward all the way from January to all the way to June. Now, the reason for that is because in the month of June, that was that was the month I graduated high school, and I see a lot of people. I had a couple friends, I have family members there. My mom and my sister were there, and I know my mom was so happy for me for me walking down the aisle, coming down, getting all these awards, getting all these diplomas, and all this stuff. I even did a graduation speech. I don't remember the whole thing because it's like 12 years ago, but what I do remember some things about me doing that speech is that I want to say I put heart and effort. I do remember I thank all my friends and my family. I have done everything I could to make it from the bottom to the top. Yeah, I don't remember the whole thing because it's been a long time now, but I do remember certain parts, like I thank all my friends and family, all that stuff, making it to the big time, finally graduating from school, and moving forward and stuff. It was a great year, and I even have a great summer too because hey, to start off the graduation is in June 2012. It was a great moment. Graduating. See all the other students, even a couple friends doing like a celebration, all this stuff for the class of 2012. It was a great moment. It was a moment that I may not remember everything, but it was a moment that I'll never forget because I finally made it. Like I just graduated high school. I did everything I could to finish it, to make it, and man, and ever since then, I have finished high school, and there's no need to come back because I already did everything I could. I did everything, and all the high school and my days in high school was over. Waiting for the moment to finish, and it wasn't easy, but in the end, it was all worth it. Even if it takes years to try to finish it, but I'm very happy that I did everything I could to finish it, and I made it. And it, I will never forget the graduation in 2012, and it was an honor for me. It was all the hard work I did in high school over the years. It was all waiting for this moment to come, and I'm very happy that I was able to graduate high school that year. And I even have a picture of myself uh wearing a cap and gown, and in the cap it has like this metal thing where it says 2012. I actually have a picture of that. And I actually have it on my wall. I still got that picture to this day. I even still got my graduation awards as well, diplomas, everything. It was great. I'm very happy. And that's something I will never forget. That was something that's for memories right there. That's a memory that I always gonna remember for years to come, you know? Hell, even if I even get to my 50s or 60s, I'll definitely still remember 2012 and the graduation, all this stuff I have, diplomas and even a picture of myself. I was very young at that time, and yeah, man, talk about time went flying. But you know what? It was all worth it. And ever since then, I never went to high school again because I was done. From the moment that I graduated school, oh, my high school days was over. After all the good times, after all the bad times, after all the work, after all the miserable stuff, after being so tired, and so bored and everything, all the stuff that's been going on with me in high school, made it all the way to 2012 to the point that the moment has been waiting for me. For my time has come, and I finally say I did it. And I could have done it without all my friends and my family support. And without them, there's no way I would have never graduated that year. And none of this would never happen. I probably would have been a failure. But I actually proved people wrong by saying that I am not a failure. I was a successor finishing high school. It wasn't easy, but I did everything I could. And it paid off. And the payoff was finally graduating, finishing high school and everything. It was great. And that's something I will remember. I do miss 2012, but the only thing that everybody needs to understand is that even though you love those years, and yeah, even back then, and how was 2012 in general? I mean, it wasn't as bad as like the past years, like 2011 or stuff like that. Yeah, there were social media in 2012, but it wasn't in full effect that much. It wasn't as bad as we have nowadays. Yeah, social media was born around the early 2010, like Facebook and Twitter stuff like that. But even around 2012, it wasn't as bad as what we have nowadays. So yeah, because social media was not fully developed until like probably later on after 2012, probably around 2013 or 2014, 2015, somewhere around there, maybe 2015. I think that's when the society and all the stuff kind of went downhill. But even though there was social media around 2012, it wasn't as bad as what we have nowadays. So yeah, but it was a great moment. It was a great moment. I know a lot of people, even other family, were very happy for me and proud of me. It was great. It was something I will never forget. I was so happy, and it was all worth it. It was all worth it. And a few things I also want to say is that the holidays in 2012 was pretty good too, like Thanksgiving. And you remember wondering why you're not talking about Halloween. I didn't really celebrate Halloween, so yeah, didn't really care about it. I mean, I used to when I was a little kid, but since I'm a grown up now, I didn't really care about Halloween. So yeah, Thanksgiving though, now that's a holiday I care about. Celebrating family. We had a good Thanksgiving, especially a turkey. You know what they say? You can't have a Thanksgiving without a turkey though. And we also got other foods besides that as well, which is great, like baked seeds and lasagna and stuff like that, which is delicious. The turkey was delicious too. And finally, we got Christmas. December 2012. It was fantastic. I have some very good gifts in 2012. A couple games and stuff like that. It was great. I actually loved it. I had a good Christmas, had a good Thanksgiving. The graduation was an incredible moment for me. You know, and it was great. It was something that I worked hard for, and it paid off. And of course, I had a good birthday, had a good Thanksgiving. I have a good Christmas. I even have a good spring and a good summer as well. So yeah, that's all I can say, and that's pretty much it. So and then, after that, the New Year's in 2013, all that stuff as well, which, yeah. But this is about 2012, so I'm not going to get into 13, all that stuff. But yeah, it was something that I love. Now, I will say this. Do I miss 2012? Yes, I do. But the thing is, though, we got to move on with the times because yeah, even back in the days like the 90s was great in the early 2000s. Don't get me wrong, I do love those years and I miss them too. But the thing is, though, we're not in those times anymore. We're not in the 90s anymore. We're not in the early 2000s. We're not even 2012 anymore. I mean, it's okay to talk about it, but you have to understand it's not going to come back. It will never come back because that's just how it is when it comes to because times have changed. We're a different society, We're not in the good old days anymore because whatever happened in the past, you just had to leave it because if you even try to bring back those years in the current modern era, it will not work. It's just will never be the same. That's the thing about it too. It will never be the same. If you bring stuff from the past and bring it to the present in this current day, it will not be the same and it will never work. That's why you always gotta leave stuff in the past. And look, even though we love the past and we love the 90s, the early 2000s, and you know me, I love 2012 and all that stuff, it's just not the same, because this is a different time and a different era and all that stuff. And yeah, maybe the future and all that stuff, it could suck in some ways and stuff. Don't count me wrong. I know a lot of people love the past. Look, I love the 90s, early 2000s, even 2000s. Well, I love those years. But as time went on, everything has changed. The world changed. Every people change. We all had to, and once we getting older and stuff, we just had to, you know, move on from the times. That's just the way it is. Like it or not, that's just how it is. It's the facts and truths. And as much as I love 2012 and all that stuff, that's 12 years ago. Because we're not even in 2012. We're in 2024, and we're not in those days anymore. The good old days are gone. And we have to move on with the times. That's just how it is. Even though the society and the current model, yeah, it sucks nowadays and all that stuff. Don't count me wrong, but that's just the way it is. That's how it is in life, and that's just how it is. You just getting older, you have to move on and think about your future stuff. Even though there might be some stuff sucks, but you got to try your best to have a good year and all that stuff. So yeah. So that's gonna be it. Yeah, this is probably one of the shortest podcasts I've ever did. I mean, that's nothing else I could say, but other than there's the story. 2012 was the best year I ever had, and it's memories that I'll never forget. Even though we're not in those days no more, but there are some memories that I think we will never ever forget, and we're gonna remember that for years and years to come. So that's gonna be it for this podcast, guys. I hope you all enjoyed it. Um, what do you all think? Do you guys have a good year in 2012? If not, then what is the best year you have? Let me know in the comment section below. And don't forget to make sure you hit the like button, share this podcast out, hit the subscribe buttons, as well as to tap the notification bell so that way you'll be notified when I upload a new podcast. And that's gonna be it. So I am your host, Domingo Hero Network, and thank you all for watching the Blue Butter Podcast. You guys take care and have a good day. Be safe and and all that. And the Domingo Hero Network is signing out. And thank you guys for watching the podcast. So you guys take care and have a wonderful day.